If you noticed your technique with underhand, this is what you did. Look at my wrist and my hand and my palm. Notice my palm is posterior, not anterior. When you, throughout the movement, and you're totally doing that, and it's beautiful in underhand. When you go into overhand, however, you're doing this. Your palm is posterior in the front, which is correct, but then when you go to the back, your palm is anterior. So what you want to work on is this technique here. Left hand is overhand, and then at the bottom of the turn, behind you, you're sort of pumping your arm. If you can imagine a hand bike pump, you know, that you pump up and down, you're pumping, 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 with the palm pointing back. And then what you're doing is you're using your wrist and your fingertips to accelerate the poi at the bottom of the turn, giving it outward force away from your butt crack, which will help you maintain the plane. And then the other rule of thumb that I would say is, imagine you're the Jolly Green Giant, ho, 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 elbows out to the side. And what you're doing is you're keeping the elbow further from the midline than the wrist throughout the movement. You want to be doing this, where it's further from the midline, instead of this, where you collapse it in like this, right? Do you see the difference between this physiology and this physiology? This one. And then what you could do to practice that is just, I guess the first place I would say is start with these pendulums, then scoop out to the outside, away from your butt crack to get the circles correct. And then one exercise that I think is very helpful for this is if you do, say, 10 circles, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then come to the front. Then do 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come to the front. Then 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come to the front, and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come to the front, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come to the front, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and front, and 4, 3, 2, 1, front, and 3, 2, 1, front, and 1, 2, front, and 1, and 1, and 1, and 1. And hopefully that build up to it will give you the extra help and support you need to get comfortable with this motion, which should be, in my experience, for people, it's really awkward in the beginning. It engages a whole bunch of things up here that are unexpected. In my experience, when you have heavier weight poi, you have less flight time on new moves because you exhaust quicker because you're using new musculature. So sometimes you could do more reps with the lighter poi. But it depends on how light they are. So it really depends on the weight of them. And this is a real inquiry. The heavier weight poi can be easier to feel, but you'll exhaust sooner. So the technique that I used for myself when I was reaching exhaustion was to have 10-minute sets where I was on the mat and then take a break and then do another 10-minute set, as opposed to just trying to like power through. And that way you have less fatigue, I think, because it's awkward and it's very weird. And what do you do in life? This is after 2.5 decades of doing this. This is what I've determined. The only things in real life that you do like this are, like, say, if you put your hands in your back pocket, palm back of your jeans, there's that. There's getting arrested where you're getting handcuffed. And there's tricep dips. But even with a tricep dip, you're like this, not like this. So it's really, there's just like in real life, there's no applications for it. So it's a very weird physiology. You're still doing a little bit of the tricep dip where you're you're crunching the elbow in as opposed to leaving it out. But that will loosen up as you practice it more. I think there's more wrist to it than shoulder and elbow. But in the beginning, I think it takes a lot of shoulder because it's such a new movement. So can you feel when it's going behind you, how you're collapsing your wrist like this, as opposed to doing this? This versus this. We want this, but you're doing this. So you're good here, and then you're doing that. You're good, you're good, and then you're doing that. You're good, and then you're doing that. You want to do this. In underhand, you have excellent form. You're wanting to make sure, remember when you're practicing it, if it feels good, look down and check that you're going in overhand, not underhand. I've had students do that where they slip back into underhand and don't realize it.